Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to the Youth Ministry Mentor. I'm your host, Tony Wolf, and in this episode, I want to tell you 5 huge mistakes that new youth ministers can make, or even any youth minister. These are the top 5 things that you really need to avoid, okay? We're going to dive straight in, and then at the end of this video, I have a freebie that I want to give away because I love to give away free stuff. So here we go. 5 things you need to avoid. Number 1, trying to change things too fast. Now, I don't really remember if I came up with this idea all by myself or if I heard this from someone else throughout the years, but I have a principle that I think is super important, and that is when you begin, well, unless you're starting from total scratch, if you're walking into an existing ministry, I very much encourage you, highly encourage you to not change anything for the first year. Okay, now I'm sure if you're starting a new ministry, you're excited and you've got a lot of ideas and you can't wait to make it your own and do your own thing. And that is fantastic. But some people come in and they want to just implement all of these changes, and they're like, I have this idea and this idea, and we're going to do this thing and this thing, and it's just kind of chaos. And I think that first year, the most important thing that you can do is get to know your church family, get to know your teens, get to know their parents, and establish those relationships. And you're kind of just learning the culture. You're learning what has been done before. Let's just, for 1 year, go ahead and do all of those things that have been kind of put into place. So if they go on a retreat every year, let's just go on that retreat and experience it and see how it is, and see, it might be really good and something that you decide you want to keep doing in the future. Maybe you're like, it was okay, I think we can do better. That's fine. But for that first year, let's just get to know our people, get to know how the things work, run through the year, and do all of the things that the church has typically done. Evaluate that, and then start to implement change. Okay, but don't come in with all of your brand new ideas and change everything all at once. Okay, big mistake. The second thing is when you lack a clear vision. Okay, you need to know what it is specifically that you're trying to accomplish. Now, this can be very different depending on where you're at. Big churches, small churches, inner city, small town, wealthy community, poorer community. There's a lot of factors that kind of go into things. Whether you're the first youth pastor that this church has ever had, or whether you're the 20th youth pastor this church has had, has it been successful in the past? Has it been pretty poor in the past? But you need to evaluate what your culture is and what your context is, and then have very specific, clear, definable goals, and then strive for those goals. You have to have a clear vision. You can't just say, hey, I'm just going to show up and do my best, and we're just going to rock this youth ministry. What does that mean? Okay, at the end of the year, if you have an evaluation and your eldership or your pastor sits down with you and says, well, did you rock youth ministry this year? How do you define whether you did or not? Okay, so you have to have some very specific, clear goals that you can measure. Okay, and that doesn't necessarily mean numerical growth. It can. Maybe that's your goal, maybe it's not. But if it is discipleship, how are you measuring if you did discipleship or not? If it's numerical growth, how do you measure that? Okay, there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. So you have to have a clear vision, and that can change. I would recommend that needs to be evaluated on an annual basis. Every year, come up with your goal. Okay, you're saying, on this year, I'm focusing on, and it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, whatever you think is important, but these are my goals I'm focusing on this year. And then at the end of the year, you evaluate and say, did we do what we intended to do or not? And then evaluate, do I want to keep these as my same goals for the next year, or do I need to tweak them a little bit? Maybe we did a great job with this. Okay, that's looking really good, but we need to focus our attention on this over here. Okay, so have a clear vision. A third big mistake that youth pastors make is neglecting parent relationships. If you are in youth ministry, you love teens, okay? Middle school kids, high school kids, and you want to spend time with your teenagers. And that's great. I think that's fantastic. But oftentimes we love the teens and the ministry that's happening there, and we just don't often get along great with the adults. If we loved adults, we would go into adult ministry, okay? So sometimes there can be a bit of a disconnect there, and we think, parents, I don't want to mess with that. I just love the kids. I want to hang out with them. I want to play games with them. I want to minister to them. I want to disciple them. That is really, really cool. But this is something that you need to think about. The parents are the gatekeepers of their children. Okay, and what I mean by that is the parents are the ones that are funding everything. They are going to be the ones that are paying for things. And they are oftentimes, until they get to be, maybe sophomores, juniors, and seniors, the drivers. They're the ones that are going to be bringing your students to the church, to your activities. They are the ones that have to give the approval to say, yes, you can participate in this, and I will be a part of getting you there and paying for it. Okay, so they need to be in the know. They need to be kept up to speed on everything. You have to develop that relationship, because you could have a scenario where you have students that really, really love you and really love youth ministry, and they want to be part of the program. But if the parents aren't bought in, then you have parents that don't think it's a big deal, and they're not going to put in the time to drive your kid to youth group or pick them up or pay for things. Okay. So get their buy-in. Tell the parents why this is valuable. Get to know them. And someone told me this a long time ago too. You cannot over communicate with your parents. Okay. You really can't. I mean, I think technically you could if you just did it every day, all day. At some point it might get annoying, but let's ignore that. You just need to tell your parents in every way that you can think of. Put it on bulletin boards. Put it in your bulletin. Send out mass text messages, put it on your website, make phone calls, send home flyers, whatever it takes. Tell your parents what is going on and keep them informed so that they know and they've got some buy-in. They know what's going on. They love what you're doing. They're supportive of it. And that's just huge. Don't just focus on your teens. You have to focus on parents also. A fourth big mistake that youth pastors often make is trying to do it all by yourself. Okay, especially if you're in a small church and there's not a big budget and you don't have an administrative assistant, you don't have a whole team of people getting paid. It's just maybe you're the only one that's receiving the paycheck, and you have to round up volunteers. Sometimes we have a tendency to think, I don't want to bother somebody else. I don't want to ask them to come in. I don't want to ask them to have to stay late. I'll just handle it. So I'll come in early and do all the setup. I'll run the program. I'll stay afterwards and clean up. I'll just do all the things. There's a temptation to do that. And sometimes that's because we feel that we have to, because we're the ones getting the paycheck. We are the ones that are employed here. So it's our job to do all the things. And sometimes that also, if we're not careful, can be because we want to get the credit for everything. Sometimes the attention gets focused on ourselves, and we just want to be kind of a one-man show. And, oh, look at Tony. He just does so much for the church. He does this and this and this and this. And wow, he just puts in so much work. He puts in extra time, and he just does all the things, and good for him. And that can feel good, but that can also be the fast track to burnout. So I would encourage you to make a list of things that you do really well, that are your strengths, okay? And look at that list and say, okay, this is what God has blessed me with, these talents, with these gifts, with these resources. I'm going to do this really well because this is what I do. And then make for yourself a list of things that you don't do very well, and be honest. You have to really be honest about that. And then see if you can find volunteers that will help you that are good at those things that you aren't good at, and will help you do that. And this was a pivotal part for me in youth ministry. Someone told me this once, that when you ask people to volunteer and you ask people to help, you are giving them an opportunity to serve. Okay, if I do everything for myself because I don't want to bother anyone else, I'm really depriving them of an opportunity that they could serve. And when I came to understand this and I started to put this into practice, I had people that were really grateful to, bake cookies or donate snacks to the youth group because they felt like that was something that they could offer and it made them feel good because they could contribute and be a part of it. Or if we're going to have an overnighter and I just need some drivers, there are people who don't want to pray in front of a group. They don't want to teach a lesson. They don't want to be really maybe given much attention. They're shy and they're sort of background helpers, but they might be thrilled to be able to help out in a background way. Like, hey, if you just need a driver, I can show up and I can drive kids somewhere. And then I get to feel like I'm part of the ministry and I'm contributing and I get to serve and I get to serve my church without maybe all of the attention or the focus being on me. There are people out there that want to serve. So find those people and give them opportunities to serve, because you can't do everything by yourself. You just can't. And if you're trying, at some point, some might have a little longer stretch than others, but at some point you're going to get burnt out. You just can't do it all by yourself. So build for yourself a team. And I'm not saying that team has to be 35 people, okay? If you're at a small church, you have a youth ministry that's 10 to 20 kids, let's say, and you have 3 other people that can help you do youth ministry, that would be fantastic. 3 people plus yourself, 4 people doing ministry, so much better than 1 doing it all by themselves. Okay. And the final thing that I'll share with you, mistake that you need to avoid is, and I'm really kind of focusing this maybe toward those young, new student ministers and student pastors, is don't confuse passion with preparedness. Okay. When you're young, you have a ton of energy and you have a ton of ideas and you're dreaming big dreams and you just are super excited and you just want to go for it. Okay. And that's super great. I love that. But you have to put in the work to be prepared so that you're putting forth a good product. You can't just be excited and think that's going to carry you. I have heard sort of on the same line of thinking. I'm going to give you a worship kind of analogy. I have heard of worship pastors that just say, well, I just want to see where the Holy Spirit leads. So we don't really have much of a set list. We don't really pick out the songs too much in advance, and we don't really practice because we don't know where the Holy Spirit's going to lead. We just like to just start worshiping and go where the Spirit leads. Well, listen. There is nothing stopping the Holy Spirit from leading on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday when you're in the office all by yourself. The Holy Spirit's there, and He can lead, and He can guide, and He can suggest to you different songs that you might pick, and you can pick those songs, and you can have a rehearsal, and you can practice, and you can get really good at those things so that you can lead really well on Sunday morning. Don't think that the Holy Spirit can't work in advance. Okay. And so that's kind of an illustration I like to share. I don't want your passion for youth ministry to be the one sole thing that drives your ministry. Preparedness is super important too. So in your quiet time, in your office, pray and ask God to lead and ask God to give you passion, but to help you prepare really, really well and to have a very good product that you can then be passionate about sharing with your students. Okay. So 5 things just to recap very quickly. Don't try to change things too fast. Don't do that. Just take your time, do things with excellence and one bite at a time. Okay. And we'll make these changes over time and it'll be great. Don't lack a clear vision. Know exactly what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish. Don't neglect your parents. You have to include them in the ministry because they are the gatekeepers of their children. Number 4, don't try to do it all by yourself. You can't do it by yourself or you're going to get burnout. So build a team around you that can help you do ministry really well. And don't confuse passion for preparedness. Be prepared. Never show up unprepared and wing it. I say that sometimes, oh, we're just going to wing it. Oh, we're just going to wing it. I don't really mean that. What I really mean is we need to be flexible. So it's okay to be flexible. That's a great thing to be flexible, but be prepared. Have a game plan. Have a plan A. Be ready for a plan B, maybe even ready for a plan C. That's okay. But we're prepared. We're not just going in blind. Okay. So 5 things for you to avoid. Please avoid all of these things if you are new in student ministry. And if you take these things seriously, they will definitely help you in your ministry. And now let me give you something for free. Today's freebie is a 4-week study on Jonah and the big fish. Okay, you'll see on your screen. This is week 1, and this is what all of the weeks are going to look like. So you can even just screenshot this right now, and you can use it this week if you just want week 1. But if you look in the description below, you will find the complete 4-week series. So if you want to do a month-long series, 4 weeks, this is for you. And again, what I love, my favorite part about these are the lighthearted questions. I get a kick out of them. I think the kids think that they're pretty funny. And then the serious questions. And again, just a reminder that this is meant to be a springboard. This is just meant to get the ball rolling. It gives you a Bible verse. It gives you a theme, a lighthearted question, a deeper question, and then you can run with that and kind of add to it what you need to that's going to fit you and your ministry and your context. So thanks for joining me today. I love you guys. I love this channel. I love what God's doing. My goal is to just help you succeed in youth ministry as I, in my older years, am trying to kind of pass the torch to other youth pastors that are getting started. I just want to see God do great things for the kingdom. So as we end this episode, I need you to know that I love you, but not nearly as much as Jesus does. God bless you guys.